Alright everybody, welcome to John Hanks' Pipe Dreams. This is episode number 2. Welcome, get comfortable, get yourself a beverage or a tasty snack or something to enjoy for yourself, a bagel with salmon, lox, and cream cheese perhaps, what have you. Sit back, kick back, relax. I'm John Hanks. Got my co-host Chad Carahalis in the place to be.
How's everybody doing tonight?
We are we're excited to be here with our friend and Renaissance man, modern dude, Sam Bamford. Sam Bam, what's up, buddy? What's going on?
Just glad to be around and help make something.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Some creating, you know.
Fucking A.
Getting stage of some creation.
Your creativity is pretty important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always is. You know, it's always kind of been a passion of mine to not care what people are up to as long as they can do it live. As far as, you know, comedy bits, music bits, pretty much anything. As long as you can perform live, then, you know, it's worth watching and checking out.
Yeah. I always feel like, you know, seeing a lot of shows growing up and stuff, most of the stuff I saw was pretty raucous, like punk rock or rock and roll and shit, and it was like, if they couldn't do live, you wouldn't even listen to the CD,
right?
You know what
like,
I mean?
At that show, it was about the energy, not like the music being played. You know, like of course the music and the lyrics, stuff like that. But like if they fucked up, you didn't notice,
right?
Like you were like raging so hard, you know.
Yeah.
So like I hear what you're saying on that. Depends on what kind of show, of course.
I was gonna say, do you think you kind of grew up in a somewhat different genre of music? I feel like you grew up a little
well,
bit more.
when did you start going out to shows? Like how old were you guys for your first shows?
Well, punk rock wise, 17, 18 wise.
Like going to a show.
Like 18, going to a show.
That was the first time you
yeah,
really?
Like, legit, like going to a show.
Even like you never like your mom never dropped you off at somewhere or.
Did you have any idea about the music you were listening to before?
Oh yeah,
like,
I was listening to
you were into it
stuff
and
like
fucking
that,
raging and
stuff like that. Yeah, I was into it definitely. But like some shows, you definitely don't know what to expect, you know.
Yeah.
But like you definitely know what you're getting into if you start listening to. You know, I started with Pennywise pretty much. You know, circle pits and skateboarding and shit like that. So
what was the first show?
Well, my first show was when I was like 13. It was 311.
Oh yeah.
Rollerblade Core.
Oh,
It was totally by mistake. I like tried to call like my friend Ben Stone up. Called my friend Nate Bernstein instead. And was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, wrong number." I was like, "Oh, what are you up to?" He's like, "Going to 311. You want to go? Fuck it, let's do this."
All
so
right.
That was the first show I ever did was 311.
What's your favorite 311 song?
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't really listen to them that much. They are alright, you know.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that one CD when I was like fucking 12 years old. I forget the name of the CD.
I had one 311 CD.
It's like the one that has like the 311 on it. It's like things blue in the background.
With an alien?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
that was. Why did they need the alien? I didn't understand that.
Okay, they're weird like that.
Well, they were from Nebraska.
That's what I'm saying. They're like Midwest, so they're like kind of like a little bit off. You know?
It was like pre-internet, so they didn't really know like what shit was that. I feel like when I think of 311, I think and like the alien and that whole thing, I think of like puka shells, you know, those necklaces. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And like,
well, that's like pick your favorite song by any California band at that point in time, you know.
But it's so it was so
kind of like
It's so weird that 311 is not from California though. That's all I'm saying.
They're not?
No, they're from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always assumed that their whole shtick was like West Coast.
I think they were just dudes from Nebraska that longed to be a part of California culture.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so you definitely think that's like the California sound, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Have you guys ever seen the Sublime documentary, Stories, Tales, Lies, and Exaggerations?
It's 4 hours long, right?
I stole it from your brother one
Yes.
time on VHS.
Yeah. I've seen that one then, for sure.
Like he said I could borrow it, and I just, you know, it wasn't like I stole it. He didn't give a fuck. Dude,
like way kind of roundabout, that tribute band Badfish there
Yeah,
is
I've never seen them.
one of Myra's, Jay
Yeah.
Myra's like cousin's husband. Like we're at a
Oh,
party,
no kidding.
we're at Claudia's birthday party and we're hanging out. He's like, oh, that's the kid from Badfish.
No kidding.
Yeah, he like hangs out. He's like, yo, I just got off the bus, blah blah blah, stuff like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Myra's pretty. They know a lot of folks down there in
They
Rhode
put
Island.
in pretty good.
Yeah. Right
But
on.
you're in a totally different music scene though, like in your school and stuff. Like Newport was more punk rock and
Yeah. I had like,
Well, not necessarily New Report,
what I'm
just
saying,
certain.
like
But yeah.
more skateboarderish.
yeah. I don't know. It was funny. Music really didn't come. I mean, my first show I was invited from somebody through high school, and it was actually a strange folk show up at the Portsmouth Music Hall, and it was a wicked fun trip. It was with my two buddies, Billy and Stevie, and we had an absolute blast driving up there. And I think I was probably about 17 too, somewhere in that time frame. But I had never heard a lick of their music.
No kidding.
Not a single thing. He was just like, "You want to go to see a strange folk show?" And I was like, "Strange folk?"
Sometimes that's the best way to go.
You know.
Going
it
in
is.
blind, yeah.
Dude, I'm serious.
And they started with their tune "Speculator," and the very first lyric is just, "It's a good song playing on the radio," and like, it's just a complete vocal intro, and then the bass line picks up after that, and all of a sudden the room goes dark and everybody's fucking dancing, and I'm like,
Yeah, everybody's raging.
where have I been? Like, where have you
Yeah,
been?
that's awesome.
Just
That's pretty
absolutely clicked and made sense, and
cool. Yeah.
I spent a lot of time catching them, like anytime they were local, but sometimes probably could have spent time chasing other people, but I always found that like once you find something that you click with or like passionate about, or you're like, I don't even know, even like dialoguing with, like while you're at a show, that it's pretty good to catch a lot of the stuff that's as local and startup and small as you can, and like support those sort of things, and get out and get those people's stuff, or pick it up that way instead of through like iTunes or some other method. It's still like at a fan band relationship sort of thing.
And what? I mean, not only. I mean, I know you pretty well, and I wouldn't. Like intuitively, I would ask you like, "Oh, do you think you're still involved in that?" as like an interview, but it seems to me like the further you go with playing music, you're more and more involved. That's more and more. You know what I mean? Like the end goal versus like, and I think it's that way with a lot of modern people, like musicians, bands, where it's like the goal is not to go have some guy come to your show and give you a record contract. It doesn't work like that anymore. It's all internet and self-promotion. And for a lot of people, like, the goal is to fucking play in a basement at a house party, or the goal is to just
Just be heard.
But on a grassroots level.
Yeah, the only thing I do right now to even play is I get invited to play out once in a while from some friends, but the only like commitment I have musically right now is a Monday night gathering that we do over in Haverhill. Usually in Haverhill. It's always at somebody else's house, but it's called the Merrimack Valley Collective, and it's an awesome group of singer-songwriters, and the whole idea is just like, keeping the roots of music what it is, and you should see these kids get together and improv and introduce with new tunes like constantly. I mean, they're just like, a lot of talented kids over there. It's been fun getting to know those guys, and there's a couple of bands that they're all attached to, or that each person's kind of attached to, sometimes a couple, and actually a lot of stuff that you guys would really get a big kick out of. Found myself at a couple of really like ruckusy punk shows with kids like jumping around, mosh pitting, and kids playing punk washboard and stand-up bass, and went along to one show where a guy was playing a 55-gallon drum with 3 strings on it as the bass, and he's like standing on this thing, and you know, beating it up at the same time.
And are you playing guitar? with
No,
these
no, no,
dudes?
no, no. Well, on Mondays, it's just kind of like, you know, it's usually more like a open mic thing where you take turns, like, playing whatever. And,
What is that? A jamboree or
no,
or
it's
a
more like,
hootenanny? What is that?
a hootenanny's like similar, where you'd like play a round or rounds where people take lead or, you know, pick a song and everybody plays off of that sort of thing.
So
But a like open mic is like you take turns playing by yourself sort of thing. You know, so sometimes it's just like one guitar for the night, other times it's like a couple people playing different instruments, and then sometimes it's like, you know, full PA plugged in, drum kits, rock party.
So what are you up to when you?
I just usually play guitar, I bring a drum along, and
So
you know,
you're like
it's
you're
always
ready for
different.
anything.
You never really
Yeah.
know what's going
Right
to
on.
happen, and I just, you know, everybody shows up different times, and it's a Monday night, and you never know who's going to be like best recovered from the weekend,
Yeah,
like
sure.
ready to rock. But you know, it's usually the you know, the night of the week that like, you know, I kind of rely on. You know, it's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah,
get out of the house.
Definitely get it up.
because you're a full time or rather overtime, shall we say, dad?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. So
You want to get details about that?
yeah, tell us about your family.
My family, I live with my wife and 4 children, 2 dogs, 14 chickens.
4 girls.
Yep. And my wife is Carrie, and she's everything. She's my backbone, my spine, my life. She's so much more than I ever could have asked for, dealing with everything that we've gone through. I just found our Christmas ornament. It was 2004. 10 years together, or not, no, it was 2004 first Christmas. So I was looking at it and I wanted to go try to find like the matching one to go with it for this year. And she's just, you know, been so amazing standing by me through the process of like not being able to work and then doing the stay-at-home dad thing, and, you know, dealing with, you know, pretty much everything over the past couple of years. I mean, Christ, we did, you know, first getting married, buying the house, and then, you know, having the kids, infertility, all the way to, you know, getting diagnosed with Huntington's and losing my job and being stuck at the house, and she's stuck with me through it all. And, you know, I can't stress to you enough how gracefully she's done it, and, you know, how much she means to me. And together we've had 4 daughters. Charlotte, who's just turned 5 years old. Angela and Maggie, the twins, who have just turned 4. And Evelyn, who's turned 2 in August. So it's busy. She works 3 12-hour shifts a week without any overtime. And a lot of weeks she does pick up overtime when it's available, just to try to get ends to meet. But, you know, they're long, long days with those girls, but we have so much fun. I mean, it's just like, you get up at 5:30 in the morning, and the party starts right away. I mean, it's just like,
I bet it does.
boom. Well, there's always like, you know, one that's tired, but there's always one that's ready to go too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
this
just
dude
fun.
there,
It's just
like-
like nonstop. And even today, it was like, you know, same thing. 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, we're up and getting milks going and getting the show on. And sometimes we're like fighting over clothes, or the 5-year-old's like sneaking around the house, like. She'll go and like change the stuff that Carrie's laid out so she can like, change clothes after the mom leaves, or like hide marshmallows in her backpacks when I'm not looking, or who knows. But it's an absolute blast. You know, we've been having a lot of fun and just trying to keep up with it all, taking pictures as much as we can, because it's like, he's so delirious and into it, and it goes by so fast he can't possibly remember it all. We do a photo album every year, and I look at it, and it might as well be like a decade old. I'm looking at it like, whew.
That's a whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, 4 birthdays, 6 holidays.
Is it when you're going through your daily routine in the morning with the girls, how much variance is there in the different personalities, and like, is it like will everyone eat the same thing, or is it like
at the same time?
Is it like are you? Yeah, no. I mean, are you? How much customization are you?
You figure at about this age level, I try to explain it like each kid will have about 2 bad days or 2 bad nights a week. So that's 8 bad nights a week to deal with. Right there, sometimes more.
Good ratio.
Yeah. And honestly, like, Carrie does all the night stuff. She gets up and she hears him right away, and it gets her to jump right to still. And I'm just like, once I'm asleep,
you're out.
Yeah. I mean, I handle like 15 kid visits between the hours of 9:30 or 10 or sometimes even earlier. Then she falls asleep, but they're pretty good about it. They're fun kids. Even when they're like screwing off, they're still funny.
4 girls.
Yeah, it's a trip, dude.
That's crazy.
It's an absolute trip.
Yeah, the fun just
My kid this week, the baby told me this week, I'm just getting her out of her crib, and I'm like, hey, babes. And she's like, I'm not a baby. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
That's the end of that.
Okay, we're going to hang out in the garage. Like,
exactly.
Be myself for a little bit.
Yep.
Fortress of Solitude.
Do you, are you still tending to the owl out there?
Yep.
Yeah?
He's still around, huh?
Yep.
Holy crap.
He's actually, most recently, he's actually taken a couple shots at Will. Roger is he's like
serious shots.
No, we got him in the head once pretty good, but like he's been like swooping at him.
Man,
Will's out there like, come on.
Yeah, dude, those are
Let's
big
go.
claws. They don't even messing around.
How did they initially get into it?
I think he saw him kick a soccer ball at one of the chickens, to be honest with you. But that's just a hunch.
Does the owl fuck with the chickens?
He never has.
Really?
Yeah.
Too big or something like that, you think? Or?
Well, I mean, they're about twice his size.
Yeah,
but I've heard that, a hungry owl will pretty much do what it has to do. But they don't like to come out during the day, and the chickens, hide up pretty well, and,
So how old's that owl now? How long has it come around for?
I mean, I've been seeing it for over 2 years now, or
2 years?
3 years. When did it start?
3 years.
It's 3 years now.
He keeps coming back.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yep.
And what else you got going on up there? Your chickens? I was going to ask you, as far as, how much of your, so the chickens are making eggs.
Yep.
And what percentage, you're eating a lot of those eggs, or
Actually, I'm allergic to eggs.
but you're feeding your girls with eggs.
Yep.
And you're growing other veggies and stuff up there as well that you're
Trying.
using in your foods and stuff like that.
Yep. Doing my best.
Do you have a greenhouse? No.
Haven't gotten there yet.
Not yet.
Last year I got so bored I started in my garage in January.
Yeah.
And just had pretty much anything that took a few weeks to start, and just started it under a light, and already had trays rolling and everything like that by the time everything was going outside.
All set up.
But I this year just finally completely stopped doing any kind of feeding or anything like that. I'm trying to go completely permaculture and just do top coverings and mulchings and try to get as much topsoil action going at the same time, because when you're trying to grow in a lot of places, it's so stripped. Even in my yard, it's 3 inches of dirt, and then below that it's just sand and fill and crap, and you know what I mean. It's not really too much workable stuff. So you just gotta bring it in. Yeah, just bring stuff in to plant it. You know what I mean. Build the dirt up and having the chickens around has helped. You know, the chicken
moving around and shit.
Yep.
Can you give us a broad definition of permaculture for those that don't
Oh
know?
my gosh, I can already worry about the things that people are going to say in my description of it.
Well,
But the idea is using what's already existing and what's already being given to you to gain the most, you know, and that includes using the layout of your land, using, you know, as much space as you have, as much runoff as you have, you know, you try to play off of the things that you have as benefiting or like helping the situation, and try not to overdo it, you know, because the current agriculture system just sucks and sucks and sucks things from the dirt, and then it collapses. You know, so like food isn't grown in a plush, decomposing soil with these nutrients and bugs and this like life substance going on. It might as well just be growing in like a bag of rocks. I mean, and people say it's like, oh, it's just the food, yada yada yada. It's still the sun and the water and
chemicals.
It's like, no, it's not like taking anything from the earth. It's not taking, you know, my overcuts of last year's veggies and turning it back into another plant, or it's not taking, you know, it's literally just growing off of the food that's being put into it, and that's the only way it functions. You know, if it wasn't just like completely covered in food and completely covered in insecticides, it would just get
So would you say
chopped over.
Would you put like hunting under permaculture, or was that just like
definitely?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to have that kind of relationship with your land. You know what I mean?
You ever think about getting into like bow hunting and deer and stuff like that? Or,
I do, but then I start thinking about I should just get a couple reindeer and like
raise them,
take one off every couple of years.
Slaughter it, sacrifice it like Apocalypse Now.
I went to this place this past summer and they had a herd of them. They were pretty funny critters. Definitely crossed my mind.
To slaughter it?
No, not to slaughter it, to hang out with it or like have it as a pet.
Without the benefit of permaculture, you know, how long do you think the planet can sustain the current format of mass agriculture and, you know,
I'd say as long as they need to. I mean, they already got past the point of like the dirt dying. That was probably the Dust Bowl in the 20s or something like that, you know, and they continued to... You know, they continued to till and turn and till and turn until they sucked absolutely all the life out of the earth, and then they just started raining plant food on top of it. So it didn't work, you know?
You don't think that there's
still hope if they ever go back to like crop rotation or something like that. But I mean, they're so far past that stuff. You know, they used to give fields like a year off here and there and grow like a cover crop like alfalfa or clovers or something like that and turn it back in, and I don't do any of that crap anymore.
Yeah.
Let me ask both of you guys a question. I want to hear your opinion on this, Chad. I want to hear yours as well, because I'm pretty sure where I stand on it, but I'm also a skeptic at heart and a journalist by nature. So, you know, that sounds bad, skeptic at heart, but you know what I mean. I check this out. What do you guys think about chemtrails?
I think it's bullshit.
You think it's bullshit? Why?
Yeah. Well, it's not like it's absolute bullshit. Like, of course, it's exhaust coming out of a fucking jet. It's not good for you. But like seeing the actual like the trail of it all, I think it's just the water inside the turbine getting fucked up.
There are those that believe that there's all types of sinister purposes.
Like people like put pipes out the back and stuff like that. Like Boeing jets and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, all kinds of crazy ends. You know, they want it for brain control or you know,
you can think about
kill people's libidos or all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I've completely selected to never research the matter. It's like enough shit that I worry about all by myself, and I didn't need that one. you know.
You're out of the shitstorm.
I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I just... But at the same time, sometimes it's like, you know, worrying about the things that you see or hear in the news or things like that. You know, if you're to be speaking with somebody who is positive for it, would say, like, that's what they want. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like deeper. It's a full deeper. It's always one step beyond.
How much land do you own up at your house?
Just an acre.
Just an acre. That's not that bad, though. Not just an acre. That's pretty good.
No.
You can definitely raise some animals and stuff like that. But up there,
It's a nice pad.
yeah. You have deer running through your backyard and stuff. You ever see them?
Lately,
Yeah.
I been watching this one that's coming through in the afternoon, and then last week my dog ran off, and he got picked up by
Went after
the
it.
dog kennel. No,
No.
not at all. Maybe he did, for all I know, and they didn't tell me the whole story. But anyhow, we got like scooped up by the cops and brought over there. And then when I got over there, they're in the same like city block as me, basically. I mean, it's in the woods and still a mile and a half away. But as I'm pulling into their yard, I see the deer that I've been looking at, pretty darn close to what I've been looking at, hanging from the tree. I was like, well, so much for that one.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days later, Carrie was coming home from work, or dropping the girls off from at school in the morning. And sorry. And on her way home, probably about 9 o'clock, she's seen another one that's really, really big, starting to like come in the same area. I think, like just that quick.
Yeah, permaculture put that thing down.
Oh man,
It'd be
you should see like when they decide to like do your yard, dude. It's amazing. They just
Yeah.
like come through and like mow it in like 6 days. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And see like the first patch of like flowers or like dandelions getting chewed up, and I'll like put like little fence things around other parts that I don't have like fenced in. But they'll go after just about anything.
Yeah, they'll take anything down. They'll taste it all.
It's cool if we take a break for a couple minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Take a
cool.
break.
How'd we do?
So far, so good.
Where are we at time-wise?